recording now. Hello, everybody. It is the 31st of July, going into August 2019. We're going to start off our Zoom call immediately with some questions that came in and hopefully address these first. So the first question that came in was one that was emailed to us. And again, if you have questions, make sure you email them within the subject line, put Zoom question, and we hope to get them answered on the Zoom calls. So the question was, can you use immunotherapy for endometrial carcinoma cancer? The answer is yes, it has been approved. So we've talked about cancer immunotherapy on several other podcasts. But cancer immunotherapy, again, is using a new type of drug. Keytruda is the one I listed here, but there are several different brands of these drugs that target different receptors. So remember, cancer cells are your own cells. So your immune system really is meant to not attack your own cells. That's part of the issue in why cancer continues to grow and your immune system doesn't destroy it. A person's immune system can be disabled. A person's immune system can be diminished. If a person's on steroids, it can diminish their immune system. A person can be under a lot of stress, diminishing their immune system. But each one of your cancer cells have a receptor, and I won't go too deep into it, but that this PD-1 receptor basically turns off your immune response. It turns off your T cells. Well, the new immunotherapy drugs that are kind of exciting are drugs that attach to that receptor so that your T cells don't get turned off by the cancer cells, and the T cells will then attack the tumor cells. Well, again, this presupposes that a person has a healthy T cell response. So doing a lot of alternative things that will stimulate an immune response is still paramount in having an immunotherapy drug work well for a person. Now, they've done a lot of studies on these immunotherapy drugs, and they don't work well for a lot of different cancers. So they're only approved for certain cancers, and they're in clinical trials for other cancers. So when you hear a lot of people say, I want to get into a clinical trial, I want to get into a clinical trial. Well, clinical trial is just using a drug on your particular cancer that hasn't necessarily either worked in the past or worked in combination with something else, and that's what the trial is about, or it has never been tested on your type of cancer, and that's what a clinical trial is. So Keytruda is one that you hear advertised on television a lot because it got approved a few years ago for several different cancers, colon cancer and several others. Has now been approved for endometrial cancer as well, and it can be beneficial. Now, we've spoken about the negative effects of these drugs too, because they're turning off your immune's ability to recognize self cells. So the side effects of immunotherapy drugs is that you're going to attack a lot of self tissue. So you're going to end up with autoimmune disorders based upon, this drug is turning off your self cells' ability to protect themselves against itself, against your own immune system. So that's the side effect of immunotherapy drugs. Now, still, if you got a cancer that's growing, just completely relentless, using immunotherapy drugs in slowing the growth down, you could deal with the side effects with some other ways, different medication, different natural ways to deal with this autoimmune reaction that you have. Most common autoimmune reaction right off the bat is colitis. So the person can have very bloody stools, a lot of stools per day, and affecting their gut. Well, we can do some things that could really help that and counteract that if you choose to use this medication. So yes, you can use immunotherapy drugs for endometrial. I do believe that that can't be the first line, though. You have to have failed chemotherapy before you'll do that. Now, some oncologists might be able to bypass that if they think that you're more of a likely candidate for it. Now, they do specific genetic testing to see if it'll even work with your cancer, because they have to have a biopsy of the cancer that tests for MMR and deficiency and defects in certain genes. Otherwise, it won't work. It's been proven not to work. So that's one caveat that they will have to test for. Other question came in is, are there long-term negative effects of using DMSO zinc spray? Well, you can Google side effects of DMSO, and it includes skin reactions, dry skin, headaches, dizziness, obviously if it's absorbed, drowsiness, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, constipation. Now, these are side effects of somebody who's dosing themselves with DMSO, and there are even people that take it orally. So understand that when you're using a little bit of DMSO, spraying a few sprays of this DMSO zinc spray that we created for you on you, we've never had anybody have any of those symptoms. Now, the most common side effect of DMSO is a garlic-like taste in your mouth. If you've never gotten a garlic-like taste in your mouth after using DMSO, there's no way you're going to get any of those other side effects, because that would be the first effect of, taking DMSO. You could get that garlic taste in your mouth because of it's dimethyl sulfoxide. It's the sulfur in the DMSO that actually gives you that taste. So if you're not even getting that, or your breath or body odor of a garlicky, sulfury taste, then there's no way you're going to have side effects of the ones that are above that line. So really, we're using DMSO in this case as the driver of the zinc. So there's more zinc, liquid zinc in there than there is DMSO. We're using the DMSO as just the driver of the zinc to help you absorb zinc through the skin, particularly right over a cancer, because zinc on cancer doesn't like zinc, and it can help displace the copper. And copper is necessary for growth. So any increased metabolism, any increased growth of cells, any laying down of new cells needs copper. So the whole idea of the DMSO zinc spray is, let's use DMSO as the driver to get the zinc into the tissue where the cancer is, so it'll displace the copper, change that ratio at the cancer site. That zinc to copper ratio is going to be higher, and it'll decrease growth by the new cells won't have copper in order for them to continue to replicate. That's the idea of the zinc spray. So it's not the DMSO really that we're going after. That's just the driver of the zinc. Okay, so we don't have a lot of time today because I have an interview that I have to do. So I'll open it up for questions, and then we will leave it at that. No questions? Great. Continue to post your questions on our email. You guys are doing that, and post your questions on our patient-only Facebook page, because that's the fastest way to get questions answered. Thank you so much, and we will be back next week. Make sure you listen to the interview that I had that we posted as a blog post. We got a lot of really good response on that interview. That was with essential oil interview, but I was talking not just about essential oil, but really on a lot of things of what we do here and how we tie that together. We got a very positive response to that. All right, thank you very much.